What's up, everyone? How are you? My name is Tyra, and I wanted to ask you guys. You guys probably could some of you guys could relate to me. I hope a lot of you can, but let me ask. Have you ever was going through life as an adult? Just, coasting through life, living life. And one day you just come across a certain person, and it's like you can't even remember when you guys were not friends. You know what I mean? Everyone talks about childhood friends, or we grew up together, or we've been, knowing each other forever and stuff like that. But nobody ever talks about the friends that you make as an adult and how important it is as adults to have a village. This is my wonderful friend that you all know already, Connie. We are at Connie's Diner. So we're going to talk about today going through life. Life is a journey. Life is a process. We go through a lot of seen and unforeseen things, but one thing's for sure, you live. And we're going to talk about today, which I think is so important, that it takes a village. We say it all the time, it takes a village to raise children, but it also takes a village, I believe, as an adult. I think just as much as children need villages, adults need them too. Sure. May not be the same thing, or maybe, different things as an adult in contrast to children, but I really feel like it is so important to have a strong support system. What do you think?
Agreed. My name is Connie. So me and Tyra met at the pizzeria. We've been knowing each other. I knew her older, but I didn't know her. And
I was a customer.
She was a customer. But most of my customers end up becoming my friends. But this one, I haven't gotten rid of her yet. But we started becoming friends. We started talking. Just started with your random hey, have a good morning, this and that.
Right.
And it went where we just started developing a friendship. And a little bit about my background. I had friends in high school, but I really didn't have friends like that. I was married crazy young. It was me, my husband. I had a kid really early, and then we worked. So I didn't really have my own friend group.
Right.
And my husband did, and I didn't. But I was like, what I need I don't even have time to go out. So navigated through a whole series of life events, and pretty much I had myself, but I'm clearly my family. But then as my kids got older, they had their own lives, and I had to I woke up one day and realized I don't even know who I am. And that was mid 40s, I have to say. Because once my kids were kind of grown, and I had a serious death in my family, I woke up thinking wow, my whole identity is either being a mom, being a wife,
right,
being a girlfriend, or being a business owner. And I had zero else outside of that. So I started, I guess COVID made that happen too, because COVID shut everything down, and it made me deal with myself. And in that time, I started, I had friends who you would consider people in my life, but not that I don't really open up to people. I'm not real vulnerable. So I started going out and getting a life that way.
Right.
And then me and her just started talking. We started having similar things in common. I knew her, but I didn't know her, and we just clicked. I don't our friendship, if we had to put a timestamp on it, literally is a year. I think is August, right? Was our anniversary? Stupid. But there is not a day that goes by that I don't see her, talk to her. If she's not at the pizzeria, we're text messaging, or we're on the phone, and we just go back and forth throughout the whole day. And it's true, you need friends, but I don't think it's quantity. I think it's quality.
Period.
And it doesn't matter the length of time.
Yeah.
Because, technically, some people have friends for a lifetime, and that's great. I honor that. I just never had that. Right. So I can't relate to that. But I can relate to this stage of my life, having a friend who turns into family. Like,
yeah,
I was saying to myself this morning, as I was going to work, I try and like go through things that I'm grateful for.
right.
And I said to myself, like, I really genuinely have a friend who, no matter what, I know no matter what time of day, or I can call her, she's got my kids,
Right.
I got her kid, like, and there's no questions asked, and there's no doubt in my mind
It's
that she's going to show
understanding.
up for me.
Right.
And that's not something a lot of people can say.
Yeah.
And that's not something to take lightly. It's the same how I feel about, like, my business. Like, there's certain things in my life that are like staples, and I dedicate a lot of time to,
Right.
and and that she is that. But it's true. Like, I think when you become a mom early, which you can relate to that, you kind of lose your life.
Yeah, because it's dedicated to other people.
And it's not like lose your life like it's a bad thing. It's just you lose your life, your sense of self, your sense of
your
identity.
Your independence and your identity.
Yeah, like you don't even know who you are. And then it's like your kids grow and they do what they're supposed to do, because kids are supposed to grow and move on and do what they do and become adults and start their own life. They do what they're supposed to do. And then you kind of like wonder, well, what is my purpose?
Where do you stand?
Like,
yeah, and it's so crazy because of the fact that, you know, I'm a big believer in there's no such thing as coincidences.
Me neither.
You know what I mean? And I feel like whatever is meant to happen happens.
Same.
And
There's
whatever's
a master
meant
plan.
Yeah.
My child always says there's a master plan, and that's what forms you. And he's right. He's right. Like, that's what happens in life. There's a master plan. And for us to be mad at stuff that happened, I think it was just supposed to happen.
Well, you know, I could relate to that, and I could understand that on both sides of the coin, because, you know, there's always a master plan, but when your emotions are tied to certain things,
it's terrible.
So it's not that easy to just like, oh, this is part of the plan. And it's like, with me, like I said, I don't believe in coincidences at all. I feel like everything is planned out. You know, we may not know what the plan is, but I have a strong faith that God does. And it's like, you know, you could coast, like I said, you could coast through life, and, you know, you're an adult and you're at, you know, you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s and stuff like that. And you, like you said, sometimes because you are so connected in so many different areas that it's easier to lose yourself.
So much.
But let me tell you something. Because, you know, I can't be serious for too long. But let me tell you something. There is nothing wrong. And that's something that I'm learning, and I had to learn. As you're a mom, as you have these different titles, it is so vital that you live your life.
Yeah, but as a mom, then you feel guilty sometimes. But you got to kind of get over that.
You got to find a balance.
Yeah.
And that's my whole thing. And let me tell you something. Whoever is in your circle, let me tell you, you may be in a boat together, but make sure whoever you riding with and rolling with is paddling forward, because there could be people that's paddling. They could be in the same boat, but they're pulling you back. Make sure whoever is in your circle, it is so important, that makes you better. And sometimes you don't realize it until you think
step
back.
Outside. Yeah.
Like, let me tell you something. I tell people money is great. Money is wonderful, but money is not everything. And I say all the time, if, you know, you compared me to having money or whatever the case, no, I am not where I need to be. But if you compare my account with my support, I hit the jackpot. Because whoever that you're rolling with, whoever you're riding with, it's like, it should be uncertainty. You know what I mean? With anything, whether it's big or small. And I feel like it is so important, and I think it is so valuable that you value people.
People don't value people. People value things.
People value things. Instead of using things, they value them. And instead of valuing people, they use people. That's unfortunate. But that shouldn't stop you from opening yourself. See, I was at a point in my life, I was dealing with a lot. You know what I'm saying? Life happens, you know, death, sickness, all of these things. So it's like when you are dealing with so much all at one time, it's like you look at it like, oh, it's one thing after the other. But once things subside, it's like, okay, I'm stronger. I'm wiser. I'm better. And then you also take that next thought like, wow, not only these things I've gotten better and I've grown, who was there when it got tough. You know, you could be with people when you celebrating, when things are good.
Everybody trying to celebrate.
Right. But who is there? Who do you call when things hit the fan? Who do you call when you're sad? Who do you call when you just can't get it together? You know what I mean? And I feel like that's why it is so important to value your circle. Value and make sure your circle, whatever relationship you think that you have with them, make sure it's the same way and it's reciprocal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why I'm so grateful. Because let me tell you something. People will add value to you. You will know it. And not only you will know it, the people around you will know it.
Yeah, because energy is energy.
Energy is energy. And also you should have people that want to push you. And that's what I feel like you did for me. Like certain things, scared to death. I'm like, I don't know, I can't. And let me tell you something. She's the type of person, she don't sugarcoat. She don't soften. She's just going to tell you bluntly.
She went on a trip last week, like a trip that she had to go on, right?
Right.
She hasn't been on a plane
in 20 years. I ain't gonna lie. Right? Look, listen, I ain't gonna lie.
And she's like, I'm scared. I'm like, grow up.
Right.
Like,
right. But
up.
you need that. You need people to give you tough love, because if you want somebody to sugarcoat and be like, oh, that's good, friend, and someone that's not going to check you.
Yeah, I'm not that.
That's a cheerleader. That's not a friend. I want someone that's going to call me out and be like, you know what? I think this, I think that. But at the end of the day, you're calling me out, but you're going to help me.
Yeah. Like, I'm not that person that's going to really sugarcoat it or not be like, what are you talking about? Like, that doesn't even make sense. But I will help you be better.
Right.
Because I want to see you win. Like, I want to see everybody win. I'm really not a hater in the sense, like, if you got more than me, I applaud you.
Right.
Like,
that's
if you have you're in a better space than me, I applaud you. Like, I really applaud you. I don't have any envy in myself. Like, does it sometimes push me, or do I sometimes be like, damn, like, such circumstances pushed me back? But I think they had to push me back because they had to make me learn that I can do certain things on my own, or that I can be that version of me. And this last year, I kind of like struggled with who I was.
Right.
Like, I went through a definite healing period from like 2020 to 2022. It was the first time in my life, well, after years, that I was actually single. And I took that time to find who I was, because I got married at 21, and then like I came out of a marriage, I went in another long relationship, like I didn't even know who I was, because who I was at 21 and who I was at 45 were definitely two different people.
Absolutely.
And I went through a journey for those 2 years between grieving. I lost my only sibling, COVID, changes, and I had split up from a long relationship. I went through so many changes, but like I liked who I was. And then this last year kind of like checked me on certain things. And I felt like I was losing who I was again. And I had to like recheck myself. And I've been doing that the last few weeks, like really rechecking myself, which is why I'm here today in work clothes doing this podcast, because I need to start holding myself accountable for being what I say I'm going to do. Like
consistency, sis. That's the word.
Yeah,
that's the word
like,
for 2024. Consistency.
I have to hold myself accountable, because if I don't, how can I expect to hold you accountable if I'm not holding myself accountable?
Absolutely.
So, which is why I said, you know what? No, we're going to do this podcast. We're going to do what we need to do. And I'm going to break out of different comfort zones, because I am like a creature of habit. I like to do the same things. Like, I don't really like coming out of my comfort zone. So like, I'm trying to push myself in that. I'm trying to hold myself accountable. Even with work, like I have been in that business for so long. It's literally going to be 28 years this year. Jesus. And I went from being a worker there to like an employee to a boss. We're going to put air quotes, because I'm really not a boss. I'm really like an employee of my own business. So that is also something that I'm very well aware of and I need to work on.
Right.
But like the fact that I'm trying to hold myself accountable is definitely what my focus is on 2024. Because I kind of like lost sight of certain things this last year. And I don't want to do that. But we hold each other accountable. Like when we see each other not like
at our best
or at our best, we're going to be that shoulder to cry. But then we're going to be like, well, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, so what are you doing about it?
I take the softer approach. She the one like, what's the problem? You done crying? But you, like I said, you need that. You need that. But at the end of the day, after that, it's like, okay, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
It doesn't become your problem or my problem. It become, okay,
so
what are we going to figure it out?
How are we doing this?
Yeah. And I feel like it's amazing because of the fact that like she says, I'm always at the pizzeria. One, I live down the street. Two, she'd be like, what are you doing here? First of all, it is a restaurant, but we're going to leave that alone. But this is, I feel like wherever you feel your spirit, not you physically, but your spirit, I feel like wherever your spirit has peace, that's where you gravitate to. So that's my thing. Like we could hang out. We don't even have to talk. Because sometimes I don't even feel like talking to her. You know what I mean? But just being there, it's like it gives me a peace. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, one thing about us, we are the type of people where if we're going to do it, we're going to say it and we're going to do it. Yeah. If we say it, we're going to do it. And on top of that, it's the fact that we literally have fun. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like some people be like, oh, we got to go here. We got to have this. We make
bad situations funny at the end of the day. We have to laugh at them and then we'll just be like, you can't even make this up.
Yeah. And before you know it, it's like, all right, we got through this. What is next? And I feel like, it makes life easier and it makes life better when you have support. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like now in my life, because I have 3 boys and I deal with a lot with my middle son health issues, but I feel like if I didn't have the support, I wouldn't have made it last year. Yeah, like mentally, emotionally.
Sometimes it's like those unexpected things.
And it hits you. Life hits you. And let me tell you something.
Life beats you.
I'm 4'11", 120-some pounds. I felt like a 400-pound, 6'4" man hit me. Because when you deal with things that your emotions are tied to, it knocks you down. And sometimes it's like really hard to bounce back. And sometimes you're going to bounce back, but it's just like,
again. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Sometimes we don't see in ourselves what other people see. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, you got to get up from here. No, we're not quitting. We're not quitting. We're doing this. We're doing that. And you never know you think you're struggling, who you're inspiring, or they're just true. Admiring you. Keep going. People may know your story and be like, you know what? I'm grateful because I look at you in a certain way. The things that you may think is a struggle, people looking at that like, damn, that's
like
strength.
I had my aunt tell me a few weeks ago, we went out to dinner and we were just talking about history, like things that happened, like history in my life. And my aunt's like, if you knew her, you never knew what she was really going through because she always seemed like everything was okay. Mm-hmm. Because like you think like that's what you have to do because you just got to keep going. But life has life.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, I'm going to keep going, but I'm going to cry too.
Life has
I'm going to cry, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to cry, but go ahead.
Sometimes like even as a woman in business, as a mom who was single for like who did it on her own for a while, it wasn't easy. And you question everything you do.
But look at the results now.
Like you question everything you do. You question like if you made the right choices, if you did the right thing, if you do. Like I see, like my kids are both grown adult kids now. Like I have one that's 27. I have one that's about to be 22. When I see how they turned out,
right?
Not that like I want to say like it was all me because clearly it was them too.
It
but
takes
like,
a village, right?
It makes me think like, all right, I clearly didn't do that bad because they're good people. Yeah. And that's really all I wanted for them. Like I want success for both of them, but they're good people.
They are
good people.
And I just feel like, and I'm going to just say this, she's going to debate about it, but let me tell you something. Some of that perfection, I'm not going to take all of it, but some of that perfection they took from their aunt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's something that can't be explained. And I don't say this because she's my close friend, but she genuinely has great children. And, you know, and I sit there and I watch because I watch the relationships because, you know, I bond with them too. You know, that's my niece and my nephew. And it's like, they're amazing kids. And I feel like now with my kids, 15, 12, 9, you know, a mother's biggest wish is, okay, I want my kids to be great people.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you want your children to be successful, but
I
want my kids to have compassion, respect, things that money can't buy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like now that my kids are, you know, I have 3 boys and, you know, now they're at the age where they're becoming more and more self-sufficient. So now it's like I'm at a point now where it's time to pour back into me.
Yeah, and that's where women sometimes don't do that.
No, we don't.
I think women more than men, and I'm not saying men don't lose themselves as well, because I can't speak for a man. I'm not a man. But I think women, especially once you're a mom, you forget that you too are a human being,
of course,
or that you're a woman, or that you have to figure out who you are, and like you literally change. And I was raised by my mother is an immigrant here, and her mentality is more old school. And I have a lot of those qualities. I try and change them, but there are qualities of that I inherited as well. But my mom, till now, her only mission and her only goal is to make sure I'm taken care of. It used to be me and my brother, and then my kids and her grandkids are taken care of. As long as she thinks that, like, as long as that's done, that's
she's
her
good.
purpose.
Yeah, she's good.
And like, I don't want that to just be my purpose. Like, and it's not they're saying anything wrong with it.
Right.
But then like she felt empty once, like she couldn't take care of my kids anymore because they're not little, or like I don't really ask her to do much for me. Like she helped me tremendously,
of course,
when I needed her. Like we co-parented basically.
Yeah, I get
but
it.
like I don't want my only purpose just to be that
servant to others.
Be a servant to others. I try and tell her, like, you have to have a life. Like,
that's my girl. Let me tell you something, sis. Let me tell you something. Sis was on the floor in the living room dancing. Let me tell you something. I want to be her when I get older. Let me tell you, sis is the goal. That's what we call the OG right there. Shout out to Nona. I love her. It's my friend.
You know, like my mom's whole sole purpose is to make sure that she's always helping us.
But I do see those qualities in you because you're always, whether it's asked or not,
you're
the type of person that you study and then you'll just do, which is good. But let me ask you, since you have older children and my children are growing up, how does it feel to still be young with grown kids?
Well, according to my son, I'm old.
Well, according to all of us, you're old. You know, that's just a joke in the family. But
he's like, you're pushing 50, you're pushing me. He's really reminding me that I will be 50 this year.
Yeah, and I'm gonna remind you too.
How does it feel? It feels good because, like, you know what? I might be old, but I'm not that old.
She ain't
like
old.
I can still go out with them. We can still have fun. Like I can still relate to their music. Like I'm still relatable to them. I feel like I now can enjoy them. Like I didn't feel like
they're your friends now. In a sense.
They're like the two that I know, like, have me, will always have me. Yeah. And it's like, they're my best friends because they're clearly they're my children, but like.
Why is she looking like her eyes getting watery?
I know,
she's a piece of work. She makes me sick.
That one is my weakness.
Okay, go ahead. A mess.
But it's nice because, like, I don't feel like I was able to enjoy them. Yeah. Because I worked a lot. Like, this kid was always home on the weekends. My daughter, too, but she used to work a lot. But he was, like, young, and he was, like, always stuck home on the weekends, and I was working. But guess what? Nothing else I could do. Like, I had no other choice.
But you know what? You felt that guilt, and I got it, and I get it. But now, let's fast forward.
Now they're both like hustlers.
They are. Let me tell you something. Natural born hustlers. I'm the aunt, and they make me want to be on their A game, like on my A game, because let me tell you, you worked hard, but you set the foundation.
I guess.
To be a hard worker. No one is going to hand you anything. Nah. And for that, I tip my hat to you because of the fact that not only that your kids are hustlers, the fact that your kids have good hearts, and as much as they hustle, there is generous. And I know that for a fact because they love their auntie. They love their auntie.
Nah, that's what I say. Like when I look at who they became, it's like I'm very proud because it's like
you see the fruits of your labor.
Yeah, like they came a long way. We've had adversity, we've had sadness, we've had life.
Yeah,
but they turned out to be perfect humans, and I can't ask for more. And it's cool because I'm still young enough to hang out with them, where they don't think I'm like that old and they don't want me around. Like even their friends, like
she don't look that old and she don't dress that old.
Like even their friends, like their friends for me are like my children.
Yeah.
And they all know that. They know in my house, they're like my children. And they're always going to be like, they could come to me for advice. They can ask me for anything.
Yeah.
But my door is always, I have a weakness for kids, but like they will always be
your babies.
My babies. No matter how old. But I like that I had them young. Like, although like I don't know what my 20s and my 30s were about. But I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care that I missed like my 20s. All worth it. Yeah, like I don't care. Honestly, I never regretted having my kids young.
Right. You know what's amazing? It's because you and I had our first child the same age. And it's like now Jordan is about to be, that's my oldest. He's about to start driving and stuff like that. So I'm taking him, let me tell you something. When I take my kids to school, please do not judge me. I thank God I have tents now because sis got on a bonnet, sis going with her Crocs, but guess what? Those kids going to be in school. And it's like, I was playing a song because I really don't listen to rap. Like, me, 90s R&B. And so my son is like, how you know this song? And I'm like, listen, I'm not that young. I'm not that old.
It's always the boys.
And he's like, you going through a midlife crisis?
It's always the boys.
He's like, you going through a midlife crisis? I was like, shut up.
But that's a boy thing.
Yeah, because it's funny because of the fact that, like you said, it's enjoyable now. Like now, my kids are getting older. Jordan is about to be 16. He'll be driving school soon. He's taller than me. And just watching him grow, it's like, wow, I'm actually watching the person that I gave life to, and he's finding his way. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's a rewarding feeling. And it's like, also now, sis, it's time for you to live your best life. And it's okay. I used to feel like the guilt, like, oh, I'm a mom and stuff like that. But
we've gone out when I've gone out with both of them. And they're like, the little one's always like, who's the parent?
Who, and they usually, the adults and we're the children, but that's, that's for a whole nother episode. But it's amazing because of the fact that I feel like now being that, because I always feel like exposure, association, that plays a big part of, like they always say, if you want to know who you are or who you're becoming, look who you're around. You know what I mean? Sure. And it's like, I'm at a point in my life where I'm so like ready to not be afraid anymore. And you don't realize like the limitations of fear because like you said, you're a creature of habit. You're used to routine. And it's like, you would never think you'll do this or you'll never think that you do that. And it's like, now you're living life and all you want to do is live it more. And especially when you lose people close to you, it magnifies it to me. Like, you know what? We're literally on borrowed time.
And like, in my case, every loss that I've experienced has been young. Like my husband was 39. My father was 43. My brother was 50. Like I already passed 2 of the ages.
Right.
I'm about to come up on the last one. Like, and I always let him like, oh my God, I don't even want to be 50. But like,
that's a blessing.
It's a blessing.
It's a blessing to get older.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what God has in store for me.
Yeah, but
I don't know what my time is my time. Like,
no one does. And that's the thing about
But
life.
I was blessed to at least see both of my kids grow up, be there for like monumental periods and
there's more to come.
Who they became. It's more than I can say for my brother. It's more than I can say for my father.
Right.
Like, it's more than I can say for their dad. And it's sad. That's like sad. And I don't want to do that. Like, and I consume my life a lot with work, and that's probably my
was your outlet.
Yeah, I think that was my outlet. It was something that I knew I had to do, but it was something that I was like good at, and I had to just focus, and it allowed me to not deal with life.
Yeah.
But like
it makes you face it one way or another.
For real.
It makes you face it one way or another. And that's the thing. I'm like, okay, you're either going to cry and complain about,
or cry and do something about
and cry
it.
and do something about it. You know what I mean? And
You're gonna cry anyway.
Yeah, right.
You're gonna cry. You're gonna be mad. You're gonna be upset. You're gonna be hurt.
But what are you
like,
gonna do after?
But what are you gonna do after?
What are you
Like,
gonna do after all of that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like when you have someone that you could vent to, someone that you could relate to or depend on, like it, for me, it's rewarding because my youngest, Jacob, the 9-year-old, it's amazing because your youngest is 21 and to see them together. You know what I mean? And it's like, he's looking for him. He's looking for him. Like, where is he? You know what I mean? And Jake, let me tell you something. God has a sense of humor. I always say that. I always said I wanted a twin. God gave me a 9-year-old boy version at this moment. That little boy, he's hilarious, but he has such confidence and personality. And it's like, it's so amazing because when you have a true friend, it doesn't matter. Because when people see us, they be like, you guys been friends for a long time. And I'm like, no, a year. And they be like, no. But when things, that's why I said coincidences is something I don't believe in. Either. Because I've been your customer 11, 12 years, you know, and I used to be like, hey, and it was just like, I kid you not, one day we sat down and we talked and then we text, boom. And it's like, I literally don't miss a day not seeing her or talking to her or whatever the case. And the thing is, what I think is so important that people really, and I cannot stress this more than I can, when you have people that value, that, you know, you value, people that has added value to your life, people that made you a better person, whether it's a laugh, it's a talk, it's a hangout, whatever, show appreciation. Because anything that you don't appreciate
goes away,
depreciates. Anything that you don't appreciate depreciates. Like, you know, with this friendship, I didn't just have a friend. I got a family. And for me, that's the most rewarding, because before it's like you could deal with things and you're alone, but when you have a whole team, it's like, you know what, I'm gonna be all right because I got this person that I know when I'm feeling weak, they got my back. And I think that's the beauty of it. And I feel like that's the beauty of the journey of life. We don't know.
No.
Yeah, there's things that we don't know that's not so good, but I feel like if we change the perspective and look at the things that we didn't expect that were so good. You know what I mean?
Like I used to be like, damn, you know, like I don't really have a friend. I don't have friends like that.
The Lord was getting
but
me
I don't
ready.
think I was ready for one. Like I don't think I was ready to like.
What do you mean ready though? Who gets ready?
No, like when I had them young, like I don't know if I had like it in me to share my life with someone.
No, I think you worked so much.
Yeah, like
that you didn't have the leisure time to
like
hang out and
I did
do
that. Like I don't know if I was like, yeah, I just don't know if I even like that was a priority. But then it's like you wake up and you're like, all right, damn, I got nobody.
Like, she can't say that now.
What the hell?
She can't say that now. And it's so funny because,
you know, and I didn't want to be like my kid's crutch. Like
right.
I didn't want my kids to think like, all right, my mom's alone, like we got to take her. Like I never wanted to do that. I never wanted to be a burden on them, because that's not, like, I'm not their burden.
But who would have ever thought after a antipasta,
no cheese,
no queso,
all a book bag, really.
Book bag, but I'm just saying, I used to just randomly come in there, like, you know, I randomly come get my antipasta
like
salad or whatever.
Bubbly stuff. Hi.
Right, because that's who I am. That's my anointing. But we'll get to that too. But it's like, who would have thought?
No one.
That this wonderful chocolate vessel will come into your life and flip it upside down, and it's like we have a time. Like we really have fun.
Like we went to training on Saturday. I said I used to go to training, and then I stopped for a year, and then my trainer, chic, crazy, he has this class, his leg class on Saturday mornings. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take it. It's a good timing for me. I'm like, you want to come? And she's like, yeah, all right, I'll come.
Right.
We died.
Let me tell you something. My legs still hurt, and
so do mine.
A few days after
we went Saturday. we died. But we were on one of those half bouncy ball things, and
Jesus.
And we were supposed to do some type of squat thing on it. And I fell. Clearly, I always fall, but that's a whole nother story. My son was videoing this and decides to send it to my daughter. And my daughter's like,
group text.
You guys are really Dumb and Dumber. Like, but yeah, like we kind of really are.
But you know what? It's you know, and it was so funny. And I don't think I even said this to you. I was talking to my niece. We were at the salon, and I forgot how she asked the question, and she was like, how did you guys become friends, or something to that effect? And I'm a believer in this because I'm learning more about it. I said, you know what it is? Because those were the questions. I was like, how, we're so different, but we're so similar, if that makes sense. And I said, our inner children became friends.
Yeah, probably.
Our inner child became friends. And it's like, and I really think that's real. You know what I mean?
I do too.
But I feel like our inner child became real, and like we became friends. And it's like, history.
Whew.
History. But we do need to record one day when we go out. It's a good time. we have great gatherings.
We haven't been out in a minute.
We have great gatherings. You know what I mean? And it's so much fun. And I feel like, life is so much better with you.
Oh, wow.
It is. Like, this is so my salt. I'm Pepper. This is my, like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's just a person that comes into your life and you really don't remember the time when they weren't. It's like, whether it's good, bad, funny, I got to text, I got to call her. You know what I mean? And it's like,
I've cursed her out before.
Oh my God. That's a whole, that's a whole nother story too. And then, it was a little ugly. My heart was so shattered, but that's a whole nother story.
I am not the nicest when I feel like, I'm not the nicest person
when she's triggered.
When I'm triggered, or when I feel like, I don't know. When
something don't sit well in your spirit.
When it doesn't sit, my mouth takes the best of me.
We're gonna pray for us. I pray hard. Let me tell you something.
And she's super sensitive.
Extremely.
And yeah.
But you know what? At the end of the day, you have,
but it was all because I had her best intention, and I was mad that she couldn't see past that. And I'm like, you just let people do whatever. And I'm like,
I saw it eventually though.
Like, I should have maybe came at it a different way, but that's my son, and my
but
daughter
you know
said
what?
I'm rough around the
But it's what you call tough love. But I just feel like,
I'm not soft.
No, and it's okay. And I feel like because of the business that you're in, the situation that you had to endure in life, you became. But if people really know who you are, let me tell you something. She's the most nonchalant, caring, cold, warmest person. You know what I mean? But it's layers. She's like literally an onion. It's like layers.
Not everyone gets that.
Right. But she's the type of person as well. She'll give you the shirt off her back. You know what I mean? And that's the whole thing. And I feel like it is so rewarding to just see like your work ethic, to see, how traditional your family is. You know what I mean? Like, she's Sicilian, the boot thing or whatever. I always say that I'm on the arch of the boot. You know what I'm saying? I could just say that. I could say it. It's okay, right? I'm tapping into my Italian roots. Anyway, but I just feel like to watch a person, in so many different areas of their life and be inspired. You know what I mean? And it's like, the person makes you want more, and they want more for you just as much. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's funny because we are a piece of work. We have a good time talking. We have a good time laughing. But when things are serious, we put our heads together and we get through it. You know what I mean? And it's like, it was like a merging of families. We're a unit. And it's like when one needs something, we're all on it. Yeah. And I'm just grateful for my village. You know what I mean? Because no one is great. No one is successful. No one is on the top by themselves. Mm-mm. No one. And like I said, money is great. It is rewarding. But let me tell you, I know in my life, if someone's to drop 50 million in my account, it wouldn't make a difference in certain areas of my life. But support does. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like I hit the jackpot. In that case,
you definitely need a support system,
and she cooked good too. She cooked good, by the way.
As you get older, you realize you need a support system.
Absolutely,
you can't do this on your own.
No, not at all.
This life thing is not easy, and as you get older, you experience different situations. But So it's not easy.
Mm-mm.
So this episode is about friendship. Next week, we don't know what we'll be talking about.
I don't know.
We might be killing each other then.
Probably. Because, let me tell you something. She was talking junk. I got my hair curled today, and I came in here with a bonnet. You know what I'm saying? I'm being real with myself for 2024. She got me together before we got on camera, but you know what? It is what it is.
So
you see what you get.
You guys stay tuned for our next episode.
Hopefully, we'll be out somewhere. We could do like a little vlog. How you say vlog? Because you always talk about how I pronounce my pronunciation. You know what I'm saying? I got a little southern accent. They better leave me alone.
Not a vlog.
Vlog, whatever you call it. Jesus. Anyway, this is just a little intake of us. This is just the norm. If you go to Napoli's Pizza, 25 Washington and Lodi, you get the same vibe.
For real.
It is what it is. But thank you for listening in, Constantine.
See you guys next week.
Like,
subscribe.
Oh, I'm sorry. You could cut this, right?
No. We keep it all in.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, you're right. We keeping it all together. Like, comment, subscribe.
Be my
follow.
follower. I'm TikTok.
I'm her manager. You know what I'm saying? So I get my 10%. I'm about to be the next Kris Jenner.
Oh, momager.
I'm going to be a friendager. I'm a friendager. We're going to make a...
Oh my God, they all ask me for
Ben
that.
said that. Let me tell you, I already got some ideas too.
Behind the scenes podcast.
Who you telling? Let me tell you, the Lord know what to give you. That's going to be one of the other episodes because stay tuned, y'all. It's going to be a good 2024.
That's right.
A lot of laughs.